got our budget amendments, we'll let her explain those.
Unless you change it after all that. I have to deal with how day it's been, so. These are just the general purpose budget is the first page. On 17 through 20, they're all the community service grant budgets that we are really just truing up. These are ones that have to be spent to the penny, so we have to move everything to the line items where we need it to be. And then the last one, number 21, is just more money that was needed when the ACT bills came in. We had to pay for Plan, Explore, and ACT testing for all juniors, and so that came in higher than expected. And then the second page is just a small amendment that we ended up having to make to the cafeteria budget on a line item that got overspent. That's just small. And again, this is all, none of these impact any fund balances. They're just moving them to the line items that we need them on. And hopefully this will finish us up for the year. Any questions on any of these? They're pretty kind of standard what we get into this time of year.
Anybody have any questions?
And then the other amendments we sent out in the packet. And there were no impact to fund balance, I don't think, on any of those.
And they've already approved those others.
Oh, okay.
The county commission hasn't.
I thought we had changed one, but we didn't.
No.
Okay, it was this one that was
Yes.
changed. All right.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we accept these?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Terry. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Moore. Any further questions or concerns before we vote on these amendments? These will go to the county commission tonight in the meeting. Ms. Chardon, you call the roll, please.
Ms. Warren.
Yes.
Mrs. Everett.
Yes.
Mrs. Farmer.
Yes.
Mr. Pendergrass.
Yes.
Mr. Terry.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is the discussion and the approval of the CDP program. I think we, I'm sorry, I don't, that's Cindy Cooper. Do you have anything that you'd like to tell the board about this? Maybe somebody has some questions for her, I don't know.
Sure, I came here, I'm just here to tell you the regulatory part of it and what other states are doing. And, it's an opportunity to feed all students at no cost, no charge. I actually called the gentleman that's administering it in Kentucky. Excuse me for my voice, I'm getting over a cold. He stated there is a baseline percentage that if you're between 50 and 55%, that he had not one district to lose money. Your percentage is well above that, even including high school. You're very over if you didn't include high school. But I think most directors, if they're going to do this, their feeling is we either do all schools or no schools. And, you know, so I've got a mixed board right now. I've got about 60 school districts that are on for sure. You're more than welcome to look at this. We have some neighboring districts. The gentleman in Kentucky said he only had 2 schools to struggle, and they were in the lower 40s. So they didn't reach the 50-55, but not one school in Kentucky that did this lost money. There is a provision that if money is lost, that a la carte funding may be used, and from school nutrition. You can jump ship after a year. I'm not here to get you to do it or tell you not to do it. I'm here to tell you about an opportunity that's available to your district. Your percentages are high. I think your staff has run the numbers. You have some of the highest. They have really worked hard. It's very impressive. You know, it may fail, it may not. I think the biggest concern is outside the doors of school nutrition. How do other departments collect free and reduced, economically disadvantaged data. They're worried about collecting that. It doesn't affect funding the first year. The DC direct certification mechanism is still in place. All school nutrition programs are to share with Title, with the all of the other programs. Those aren't my programs. I do not know their regulations. If a student or a parent is on that list that's downloaded monthly, they're automatically considered free, economically disadvantaged in your terms. What they're worried about is this parent survey. There will no longer be a free and reduced application. It's a parent survey. And I hear directors and principals saying, how do we guarantee getting those in? It's a local decision. You can do incentives. School nutrition, we're telling them help the other departments because they're scared. They don't know what the heck to do. They've never done a free and reduced application. I think that's the biggest pitfall in this that I'm hearing across the state is the parent survey. I think September will be a critical time. That's when all the free and reduced applications typically come in. And if everybody can partner and work, help principals get this in, I think it can be a success. Again, I can't speak for other programs, but if you go on to the Tennessee Department of Education website and Google that, and Google CEP, there is a toolkit, there is a Q&A. It addresses other departments. Our goal is just to feed the kids. A lady in West Tennessee, she said, finally, after 47 years, I'm retiring, and we finally get to feed the kids. And so, I don't know. I want it to succeed. The unknown's always scary, and, directors have to manage the budget and worry about funding. But for school nutrition, there will not be free and reduced applications. There will not be verification. There won't be charges. You don't have to, as a board, deal with charges. So that's some of the positives. I know other departments, I can't speak with them. Probably your director can better address that. But if you have any other questions, I'll be more than glad to help with this. Yes, ma'am.
Did Kentucky follow the same process that Tennessee did? Did they do the survey and the same process?
Well,
somebody had said Tennessee was the only one that had chosen to do the survey.
I don't know if that is the true picture. That was outside our realm. We call them Big Nashville, decided to do the parent survey. I don't know where that originated. I know on various webinars nationwide, some states have come up with an alternative application. Most are using the CEP multiplier percentage. I don't know. Tennessee came up with this method. I don't know who came up with it. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, we'll do like we always do in education. We'll figure something else out. So, but I know our people, when I say our people, school nutrition will do their best to share the direct certification foster list, the direct certification SNAP, and TANF list. Because they want it to succeed. Everybody wants to feed the kids. We give them school buses and books and feed the prisoners free. So, it's an opportunity. It's not for me to decide. I just look at your numbers, Ms. Jennifer.
Thank you. But you don't know that Kentucky did the same?
I'm not sure if they do a parent survey. I really, really don't know what they do to collect that information.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
We talked about it in the last work session to do the one-year trial, see how it goes. I'd go with that. I think it's a good idea.
I just want to make everybody aware, there won't be a change in funding for next year, but in 2016, if we don't get all the information back, there could be, if we don't get the forms back, there could be an increase from $348,000 to $500,000 through ENA and some of our other programs that Ms. Cooper was discussing. So those could see.
I believe that Christy and I were speaking about what you guys discussed in the meeting last week, and the number of surveys that we need above the CEP number, is that correct? For like Wheeler and Rigsby are very manageable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're in the teens.
19.
And so, I mean, those surveys, we should exceed 19 surveys for Rigsby. I think there's 96 surveys for Pikeville Elementary. But it just seems like, with open house and, teachers pushing these surveys, that we should be, the other thing is, it sounds like that if we get them at the elementary level, that if there's kids in high school, it pulls their numbers
One
in
family
too.
can send it in, but it's based per student.
Right,
You're correct.
so, I mean, to me, it sounds like the numbers that, of surveys that we're gonna need is something that we could do,
I just want everybody to know that's a possibility in 2016. I don't want anybody to be surprised and say, I wasn't told that
Oh, well,
this could
people are gonna
increase.
be surprised, there's no doubt about that.
Right, but I mean that we're gonna have
But we've had
increase.
this discussion in our minutes, that, we can pull from that. But it just seems like that, we should try it since it seems manageable.
So you're gonna share what information that you have?
What, me?
Mhm.
Well, I told you guys last time, I'm fine with Title I, I feel great about that, because I know Christie didn't tell me the director, I'm still worried about accountability. I know it's a good thing, I want us to do it, but I am still worried about accountability, because nobody can tell us how that's gonna work.
Well, speak a little bit more, when you say accountability, what are you speaking to?
For testing, we have to identify students as economically disadvantaged or not, and we have to have that information for every single student. Right now, when teachers just go through these forms, they're either, if they qualify, they're free, and if they don't, they're automatically paid.
Right.
So that's easy, she makes it easy for us right now. But when we start doing those surveys, there's not gonna be any reason for those kids to have to really wanna turn those surveys back in, and we're just concerned about how we're gonna code those kids in.
But if we need 19 kids to have the same funding,
It's not about funding, it's about a subgroup. You have a economically disadvantaged and a non-economically disadvantaged when it comes to accountability as far as focus schools, district school improvement and all that.
so you're
Right
saying,
now, we have about 90-something% in this category economically disadvantaged. This is a small group, okay? This group outperforms this group. We're compared on their gap closure. Well, if we remove half of these and half of them go here, that's what we're saying. We don't know what's gonna happen as far as their academic performance when those things.
so you're worried about whether the economically challenged kids are gonna automatically move into the
If they don't bring a
non-economic.
form back, then.
And then which is gonna bring down your economically challenged numbers.
And it will increase the other, but we don't know how that will go with performance. I mean, we can't predict that. And that's the.
But it's gonna be, it's gonna be a statewide problem, it's not gonna be a
Exactly.
Bledsoe
Nobody
County
can
problem.
answer that. Nobody can tell us how that's gonna affect that.
If
That's one of our.
If there's
concerns.
60 other schools on the state of Tennessee, then
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
I
great.
don't-
for the
we wouldn't be the only
kids. I
one.
do.
we wouldn't be the only one problem.
On the
That's right.
Well, really on the testing, have they told us anything about the testing this year?
Yeah, we have scores. We just can't really.
Why can't you?
They're embargoed until they.
Okay, that's the reason why the nice below where I'm saying don't show them, right?
No, it's like this every year. We can't release them at this time.
Well, we don't know the scores and
When will you be able to release them?
It's a mid-July date when it goes public.
That's my prediction. I just, that's my prediction.
You said before the election and all? That's what I think too.
Yeah.
All right.
After the election,
August
So,
10th, somewhere through there.
August 10th, we don't really know what those are.
All right, I've got a motion by Mr. Pendergrass.
I'll second.
I just,
You did.
how that could affect the ENA. Ms. Barbara, can you address the ENA component?
As of this year, we're told we're using the same percentage as we've used as we got this past year. So for 14-15, we'll have 86%, and I assume that it's going to be 15-16. Then we face the change to whether or not we get enough forms in, or however they're going to collect our data. Then we don't know either.
You have teachers meetings right after school starts. You go to class. They can stress you need to put those in.
Right, right, and if everybody turn them back in and be honest on them, it'll be, it'll be great. It's just that what if. It's just that possibility, and I just want everybody to be aware that that is a possibility.
You don't have to be honest on your free and reduced.
You don't, but.
When are we gonna have the family surveys?
Well, they're already out there, that.
So we'll have them day one on the first day of school.
It's posted in a sample letter, and I would just, just listening to people in that letter, you can manipulate some things in your own information. We must have this, that, that's
information was in your last month's board packet, that was
Yeah,
all the
I saw it.
information that we put in
Yeah,
there.
you know,
So, but that is the
Yeah.
form that we, so we can,
Right.
so when parents come in on day one, we can say, go ahead and fill this out for us.
Well, you gonna fill yours out?
Yeah, that's three right there.
Are you gonna fill yours
You
out?
get a pack from day one anyway, with the kids.
Oh, right. I don't know, where's the, I think it's on somewhere.
It will with registration material.
So we can also do it on registration day also.
Yeah, we're gonna send it in with everything, we just can't guarantee that it's coming back.
But when
And
they,
Robertson, you know from this, that I advise the board that it could be an increase between 348,500. That's all I have.
All right, so I've got a motion that we do this on a one-year trial, and we will revisit this at the end of next school year. So, I've got a motion by Mr. Pendergrass, and I've got a second by Mr. Terry. Any more discussion? Ms. Charlene, you call the roll.
Mr. Boynton?
Yes.
Mrs. Everett? Yes. Mrs. Farmer?
yes,
Mr. Pendergrass?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
6 yeses.
Okay. Item number 3 is the approval of the new policy update.
And I emailed that to all the board members on June 8th.
These are policy updates that are recommended.
Yes, we did. And I have a hard copy, so.
Did everyone receive those? Did everyone receive those policy updates recommended? This is for, I thought.
No, it's under it.
Did everyone receive an email copy of these policy updates?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure that everybody has that. Do I have a motion that we accept them, or
So,
got a motion by Mr. Point?
I'll second.
Got a second by Ms. Farmer. We have any questions? Ms. Charlene, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Boynton?
yes.
Mrs. Everett? Yes. Mrs. Farmer?
Yes,
Mr. Pendergrass?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
6 yeses.
Okay, thank you. Item number 4 is the approval of the Bledsoe Bledsoe County Correctional Facility Emergency Operations Plan. Do I have a motion? I have a letter here, but it is talking about allowing them to use our buses in the event of an emergency where they had to evacuate the prison.
And we have to approve this, I think it's every 3 years when the prison has to redo. I gave everybody one.
Okay.
When the prison has to update their safety plan, they just have to put in their safety plan where we have approved that they could use our buses in case of an emergency. They would provide drivers, but that they could use 10 of our buses if they ever had an emergency and had to evacuate. This is something we had to approve in the past, it's just when they update their safety plan.
Did everyone receive a copy of the letter? Do I have a motion?
so this is just the possibility that if our buses are not in use, that they can use them.
Right.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Pendergrass. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Terry. Any more questions? Concerns? Ms. Charlene, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Boynton?
Yes.
Mrs. Everett? Yes. Mrs. Farmer?
Yes.
Mr. Pendergrass?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
6 yeses.
Item number 5 is adjourned. Do I have a motion?
Yep.
A motion by Mr. Terry. Do I have a second?
Yep.
Second by Mr. Lawrence. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
You live on the first?
Before I leave, we've got like 4 pretty big items.